Reel-to-reel cassettes can be seen in almost every YouTube video that shows off vintage hi-fi equipment. Why they have become so popular, and do they have any merit? On a reel-to-reel tape recorder, the smallest distance between spindles is defined by the sum of the radii of the reels. A cassette does away with the reels, or more precisely with the reel flanges, so the spindles can be moved closer together. Cassette improves on reels in two different areas: quicker tape loading and a more efficient use of space. A regular 60-minute cassette would lose 1/3 of its capacity if converted to a reel-to-reel cassette. A 90-minute cassette would lose about 40% of its capacity. This studio cassette with Type 4 metal tape was sold for €69. This CRC cassette with Type 2 tape was being sold for $99 and is currently out of stock. And this set of 4 Sound Series cassettes, loaded with the cheapest Type 1 ferric tape, was offered for a whopping $600 as buy it now. The bidding stopped at $350, which is just shy of $90 per cassette. This is insane. As for imitations, there are ones that have been factory made, and there are ones being made by amateurs at home. For example, these Eagle C15 cassettes was sold for just 75 pence in 2015. Nowadays they easily score $20 or more on eBay. Handmade cassettes cost about the same, $10 to $20. Who in their right mind would pay this much for a product that's inferior to a regular compact cassette in every measurable way? Reel-to-reel cassettes are used primarily as props for showcasing cassette tape recorders. They are not meant for regular listening. My theory is that these golden or silver reels are associated with professional tape usage. As such, they elevate the perceived quality and status of the equipment they are played on. Simply put, they serve the same function as hot babes at a car show. In my opinion, the tiny reels look awkward confined inside a large component deck or a boombox. They look more natural in a portable player, reminiscent of spy recorders from the classic James Bond era. If you are partial to large cassette hubs but want to avoid the silliness of reel-to-reel cassettes, you may want to look at 46-minute cassettes. These were popular for a brief period in the 1980s and were sold mostly in Japan and Korea. Presently, they may cost as much as a homemade reel-to-reel tape, but unlike reel-to-reel tapes, they are as good as any other cassette in terms of tape quality and mechanical precision. Here is a Sony C46 cassette played in my cassette corner. And here is a more common 90-minute version of the same cassette. You can see that it has smaller hubs. Oh, and a quick warning, not all 46-minute cassettes have large hubs. This Sony HF, for example, has the regular size ones. If the visuals are of high importance to you, how about going beyond imitating a reel-to-reel tape inside a cassette and fake the cassette itself? Here is a guy who rips out the mechanism from old decks and replaces it with a smartphone that runs a music player app. Now the sky is the limit, as you can have virtual reels as large as you like them. Of course, the most rational choice is to get rid of the old-school cassette paraphernalia and switch to modern tapeless, diskless, solid-state media and players. Seriously, I paid just $20 for this 128GB card that I bought recently. It can fit as many as 180 CDs in full uncompressed Redbook quality. Why would anyone want to continue to fiddle with tapes? Well, modern solid-state and streaming music is missing the physical aspect. I cannot touch all these 180 albums on the memory card, while all the cassettes and CDs come in different colors and textures and liner notes. Sometimes I just like fiddling with them instead of tapping a cold glass screen. Please subscribe to be notified of my newer videos, and have fun playing tapes!